Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Permit Room Film Club. So we are going to discuss something very important today, very key topic. Uh, when I wanted to get into filmmaking, really, I was just back in the day. There was not much available on social media, not many resources. It was around 10 years ago, so there were very niche channels doing a little bit of analysis. I used to look at those, but really nobody told me what were the top practices to make sure you'd become a filmmaker. For instance, if you want to be fit, you do know that you have to keep moving your body constantly. So then you gotta work out thrice a week. So there are some practices that keeps you a little fit. There are certain practices that keeps you a good orator, or if you want to be good at a certain skill set like music, there's a few people do alap in the morning, and then there are certain practices that keep you good. Filmmaking is a very comprehensive subject, so I want to get into what are some of the practices that I recommend people to do, and this is something anyone can do. It does not matter if you have a job or if most of your time is taken up by something else. This can be done half an hour a day, 1 hour a day, 3 hours a week. It totally works. I mean, if you're passionate about it, and a lot of permit room audiences are very passionate about filmmaking, want to understand it better, get into it. So this is some of the things that I believe are over my time in being a filmmaker, in trying to become a filmmaker, in being a filmmaker. These are some key practices that I'm going to put forth. So, in no particular order, I'm going to start straight away with the first one, which is get a hold of your time. Okay. So, today, if you really look at it, social media takes up a majority of your time. You can just go, if you have an app that helps you track your phone usage, you'll realize that a majority of your time is being taken up by Instagram or YouTube. uh, so I would suggest keep it at 1 or 2 hours a day, like in terms of an upper time limit. If you really think it's useful, I set it much lower for myself, because I have to I'm responsible for a lot of things. I have projects going on. I have to check on a lot of things. So I Instagram and YouTube by design, Permit Room is still Film Club is still educational. I mean, but there's so much between this episode and the next episode of something useful that you're gonna get into, that there's gonna be 80% of your time that you spend in just scrolling and finding the next bit of piece that you actually find useful. It's a $1 billion enterprise to ensure that you don't get off social media. So uh, it's great. It's a great way to keep in touch. It's a great way to market. It's a great way to spread the word. But also, it's a great way to make sure that you're not spending time on what really matters, which is your dreams and aspirations. So, first up, I'm going to say get a hold of your time in your own phone, on your own regard. How you do it is different phones have different settings. But I suggest you got to figure it out. In my phone, it is digital well-being. You go there and you set an upper a time limit for each of the apps that you're using too much. Some people may have an addiction for a different kind of app, could be a game, but whatever it is, put a limit to it. You can't get off it. It'll be stupid to go off the face of the earth. A filmmaker starting today has to have some sort of social media engagement, social media presence. But while all that is happening, it's really best that you spend time crafting and honing your skills, and as opposed to spending it not knowing where the time is going. Okay. So do set these limits. You may think you have the self control to stop yourself at a certain time, but the dopamine hit is very instant and very, very, what do you say, easy. It's very accessible. So when a dopamine hit is very accessible, you're bound to do it infinitely. There was a study done in which mice were given a lot of pleasure without having to do anything. The moment they press a button, the mice kept doing it till they died. So a little bit of that syndrome can happen. Like, you might be wasting hours without your knowledge. So set an upper time limit, use an app. I do not know which phone you have, but in Android, I think it is digital well-being. It's there in settings. Whatever phone you have right now, track your phone usage habits and figure a way to keep a track of that time. So just doing that one thing is suddenly going to open you back to a whole possibility of a whole lot of time that you'll suddenly find is available to you. It's like clearing up a hard disk. A lot of times we get very scared to install a new software or something because our hard disk is loaded. So this is the sort of thing that opens up your hard disk, and then you have all this time, and you suddenly are wondering if I should read a book, if I should make a sketch, or if I should watch a movie. So for the first time in history, guys, watching a movie is actually considered a good usage of time as opposed to spending time on scrolling. So that said, everything within a reason, but absolutely do this. Get a hold of your time, especially with regards to social media and stuff. Yeah, that's the first thing you I suggest people to do. All right, the next subject that I want to get into, the next practice. So we're speaking about practices that help you become a better filmmaker. So the next practice is learn editing. It's very easy. I mean, today Instagram has its own editing app. So in the half an hour that you do set yourself, or the 1 hour you set yourself as a time limit to use Instagram, try to upload something every day. Have a separate account. Absolutely detach yourself from the result of seeing how many likes you're getting or views you're getting. Use it like a platform where you get into the practice of creating something within half an hour and putting it out. So how do you do it? You just shoot something, throw it into an editing software, and get into the habit of trimming something, expanding something, trying to find a good cut point, and just build on that habit. You gotta be familiar with the whole process of editing, even better if you know editing. I really believe that, so this whatever I'm telling you is really, really curated for a beginning filmmaker. For someone who's never made any film, it's curated for that guy too. But really, it doesn't matter where you are on your journey. I think the new filmmaker who's gonna like come from today is gonna be a bit of a pro in more than two or three things. I think the new film director who's gonna start today, who's probably in his early 20s, uh, if he gets control of his time and all that, will be someone who will also be able to compose his own music. So these guys existed before. Robert Rodriguez, his movies had this credit called shot, cut, edited, and scored by Robert Rodriguez. I think that's a norm today because the production costs are coming down. So if you have more things under your control, you can just, time is of the essence. So you can finish a film faster. So learn editing. I personally, my life changed because I know editing. If I did not know editing, I don't think I would have made it this far. Because a lot of times, if you want to try an option out by yourself, even in the current projects, Pratik Nuti is my editor. He's a great editor. He's 24 years old. But even now, some of the smaller productions that I work, so I work on two levels. One is the studio production, and one is, the more comprehensive production. So in sorry, the studio production, and one is the more home style friends and family production. So I'm gonna quickly demonstrate to you the workflow in that. So one is studio and one is home. And in studio we have like big cameras and like Arri Alexas and all that. And I love it. I love it that I have access to that. But in the home production, we're probably shooting it with an FX3 or something that can directly be thrown into an edit software. So from there, I kind of do the first cut myself, like actually. And what I do is between two shoot days, I always do a cut of whatever I shot and then proceed to the next shoot day because we are always, in sync with what we are shooting. We are not like overshooting. We're not shooting 2 hours of footage to get half an hour of film. So we are like not much wastage. So there's so many additional good qualities, efficiency that comes into your system just because you edit, as opposed to a studio system where there's a lot of conversion of footage, and then you gotta like put it into a computer and all that. And it's just a longer process. And to be able to be ready for the studio system, if you ever get there, it's very important that you work in the home friends and family kind of a way, where there's literally no budget, but you with your skill sets provide the provide the value to the film. A film is evaluated based on entertainment value and how much it is engaging the audience. So knowing editing will automatically, you might think it's just edit. I know writing, I know direction, but edit kind of forces you to think about things that are much bigger than just the technical parts of filmmaking. Like you get very efficient, like I told you. The other thing you do is you shoot for you shoot options for making the scene work. You kind of get a hold of what is slow mo, what is 25 fps, what is 100 fps. These are like critical. So editing is the number one skill. If anyone asks me what is one big skill that a filmmaker can have above everything else, it is editing. Like, I promise you, with all the experience that I have, just get into the habit of cutting videos and putting them together. You can use apps. InShot is a great app. Instagram has its own editing software. Just get into the habit of editing and putting stuff out there. You can figure your own way to learn. There'll be a, I think I'll probably do another video getting into depth about this, but yeah, I can't stress it enough, the importance of being in touch with editing. Yeah. So the next thing that you can get into is shooting and editing as a habit. So I'm trying to make a bit of a image here where there's footage coming out of the camera and being edited here. So shoot plus edit. So I know I just spoke of editing, but I did mention it, but I want to like repeat it. It's not just editing where you take something, you can even download footage from YouTube and just throw things together, but shoot and edit. If you have no clue what to shoot, I would suggest take a time lapse of a traffic, or shoot of a traffic jam, or shoot a sunset, shoot anything that interests you, slow mo or not slow mo, regular mo, whatever mo, shoot it and just throw music underneath and it becomes a video. Try to make it more engaging, mix and match things, experiment. One thing I like to do is, if I were to begin today, I would do one reel every day. I would probably throw footage, random footage, put music on it, and try to put text. The next thing I would do as I do more of it is probably start throwing a shot or two of myself speaking to the camera in it. So these are some of the things I would do. You figure out what you want to do, but shoot and edit. Uh, if you don't have equipment, shoot with your phone. If you have equipment, at least weekly once, I suggest you shoot something, anything, and then put it together in an editing software and show it around to a few friends. If you don't want to put it online, but you gotta keep this as a habit. It's much like if you want muscle growth, you gotta work your biceps out twice a week. Okay, every part of your body at least twice a week or once a week at least, right? These are practices like that. Treat them like workouts. Whatever. Also, don't overwhelm yourself with trying to have great quality. Just get into it, and your own taste will kick in. Your own desire to do better will kick in. You will start showing it around to friends, and Permit Room is a great community. You can like probably socialize with each other in the comments and form a community. Please uh, figure a way to keep shooting, keep editing, and keep showing people. So these are the top three skills that I can like really think of. So once that is done, let's get into the further thing, which is taking feedback. Uh, so taking feedback is basically showing it to a lot of eyeballs. Okay. So there is this precious movie that you made, and I'm gonna make a trophy because okay, this trophy of a movie that you made, and you think it's like, you know, amazing, but you gotta like show it to a lot of people and take feedback. So that is the next thing. Take feedback. Okay. So why should we take feedback? Is it not enough if we just like what we do? Taking feedback is important because I think it kind of does something to you emotionally and professionally that no other process does. It's like nourishment to your skill set. There are many veteran directors. So in the 90s, those who started in the 90s, there was real the it was not digital, and the director was more of an authoritarian figure on the set. So today, so they take the final call. The final cut is theirs. The final say on how things run, it's all theirs. While that is good, and it's good to have, artistic control over your project, it's important to take feedback because today, more than ever, the market's bigger. In terms of finances, the market has actually grown bigger. But in terms of footfalls, the theaters, it's a very mixed bag. Also, with OTT and YouTube and all these resources, you can put out a movie anywhere and still monetize your career and monetize your work. Taking feedback is a skill set and it's a practice that allows you to anchor your ego, keep yourself grounded, uh, be be grounded, keeps you calm, keeps you very much in touch with reality, and keeps you improving, because the mean average of all the feedback is what's gonna like really give you great insights. So when I made Psych Siddhartha, I got feedback from letterboxed reviewers, Times of India, Hindu, friends, family, all across. Great reviews, hate, love, everything, it all counts. From the 5-star reviews on Letterboxd to the 1-star reviews on Letterboxd, there's a lot of material I read, and I'm very grateful to all of it. I kind of know what to ignore, but I also know what not to ignore. I've got into a certain place where I think I'm very good at taking feedback. Right now, I'm working on 2 films. Uh, in live, like at the point of shooting this. One of them is like I said, friends and family production. The way I actually, and I'm going to speak of this friends and family production more as I speak of these videos, because beginners కి ఎక్కువ అదే హెల్ప్ అవుతుంది. సో ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ ప్రొడక్షన్లో నేను ఏం చేస్తానంటే, 2 షూట్ డేస్ ఉన్నాయనుకో, ఒక షూట్ డే మధ్యలో షూట్ చేసేసి ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ తీసుకుంటా, ఎడిట్ చేసేసి ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ తీసుకుంటా. నో ఐ కెన్ డూ దిస్ ఆల్ బై మై సెల్ఫ్. I'm at a very lucky place where when I ask people to come to the set and help me with the shoot, there's so many people who turn up. In fact, I have to put a filter to only let a few people come. But still, I dive in. నాకు ఇప్పటికీ యాంగ్జైటీ వస్తుంది సెట్ మీద. I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing? But we dive into it. We face the chaos. Like whatever practices I told you, we do that. Except I've done it so much that I almost like, I'm trying to like make a final prototype almost. సో నేను ఏం చేస్తా అంటే, నేను షూట్ చేసేస్తా ఒక డే, ఎడిట్ చేస్తాము, అండ్ సమ్టైమ్స్ వీ డోంట్ ఈవెన్ నో వాట్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు డూ దట్ డే. ఐ షూట్ అ కపుల్ ఆఫ్ డ్రైవ్స్ వేర్ ద 2 ప్రిన్సిపల్ క్యారెక్టర్స్ ఆర్ ఆర్గ్యూయింగ్ ఆర్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ దాట్. షూట్ చేసేసి ఎడిట్ చేసి ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ తీసుకుంటా. అండ్ దెన్ ఈ ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ ఒక ఒక క్లోజ్ లూప్ ఆఫ్ 10 పీపుల్లో తీసుకుంటున్నా ఫస్ట్. అండ్ దీస్ ఆర్ పీపుల్ హూ ఆర్ వెరీ ఫ్రాంక్ విత్ మీ. In fact, the first thing I ask them is, what's the worst thing you have to say? And I keep very calm. Some of it triggers me, but there's also plenty of good feedback that comes, plenty of great reviews that come. సో వాట్ హ్యాపెన్స్ ఇస్, నాకు అర్థమవుతుంది ఏది బెటర్ చేయొచ్చు. సో సెకండ్ రన్లో ఇంకా బెటర్ చేస్తాను అనమాట. సో ఈ హోమ్ ప్రొడక్షన్స్, ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీతో చేసే హోమ్ ప్రొడక్షన్స్, అండ్ సైక్ సిద్ధార్థ వాజ్ మేడ్ లైక్ దట్. ఇట్స్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ అ ఫ్రెండ్స్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ ప్రొడక్షన్ వేర్ Nandu bro was a bit like a friend, and he was very chill in allowing me to experiment with the whole voice. So taking feedback. So the more feedback I get, the better I get. And a common point ardhamaitadi, like right now we shot around 30 minutes of a film, and we're continuing with it while I have this other project, which is studio projects also happening, where there's more pre-production happening in that. So we shot almost 30 minutes of a movie within just 3 or 4 days of shoot. We took a lot of feedback, and from what I heard, the later part, the last 20 minutes is working a lot more as opposed to the first 8 minutes. So we clearly know what to attack. We're not going to reshoot the entire thing. We're going to try and add a little, take away a little, and see if it's working again. So this makes you very efficient. Taking feedback is probably the best thing you can do to your career. Like, if you're already a practicing filmmaker, there's a very good chance you don't have a very good relationship with feedback. It's very important that you have a good relationship with criticism and feedback. Sure, like some people might just attack you for no reason, but then that's okay. You can read through. You got to be calm enough and zen enough to read in between the lines, and you become better at it over a period. But just get used to the practice of taking feedback and being anxious through it. It's all good. It's preparing you for the big stage. Someday you're going to be directing your favorite actor. For you to get there, you got to take feedback now. And who is going to give you feedback? Please don't spam me. Your friends, your family, the guy, your neighbor, anybody that you see is a potential audience. Film is a very democratic art form. Please take feedback from varied people, from the person who comes and helps you with something. Probably someone who clears the pathway for you. Someone who cleans your car for you, to helps you clean your car. Probably somebody at your office. Uh, it does not matter who you are. You can always show feedback. If you are a guy who's living in an apartment, show it to your maid. If you're the maid cleaning an apartment, show it to the guy living in the apartment. I do not care. Take feedback across classes. గుడ్షాలో తీసుకోండి, ప్యాలెస్లో తీసుకోండి, ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ తీసుకోండి. అందరిని సాటిస్ఫై చేయొద్దు. ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ తీసుకొని ఫస్ట్ దాన్ని డేటా లాగా చూడాలి. You got to become a bit of a scientist with regard to film. This one habit, besides editing, taking feedback alone, is going to change your life. You have no clue how important it is and how much of a role it plays. So by the time your film is done and after you take feedback and apply it, your film will be market ready. It's going to be ready to be absorbed into the market. People are going to just pick it up. You're going to be in profits. So this is all going to happen if you just take feedback. I cannot stress this enough. They'll be like, please comment below if you want me to expand on any of these topics. Comments that get more likes or more engagement. We're gonna take notice and try to make more videos on that. This is your learning resource, guys. So yeah, I'm taking feedback from you guys too. Leave your feedback in the comment section. So next topic that I'm gonna get into is, once you take feedback, you have a lot of data, so you gotta redo the film. Okay. And even me trying to sketch things here is a habit. So I could have just written the title, right? But I'm sketching this out because it keeps it challenging for me. I improve on my thinking skills. Sketching is one of the most prehistoric habits. Like, we as cavemen first sketched and then started developing fonts. So the earliest fonts that mankind developed were little sketches. Egyptian walls మీద sketches ఏ ఉంటాయి. So what I mean to say is, habits make you who you are. Please refer what a power of a habit can do to you. Even Permit Room is a big success because of the habit of being consistent, shooting stuff, putting out, engaging with an audience actively. That alone, just habit changes your life. So these are habits that help you. And the next big habit is called redo the film. So this is something I have recently picked up, and I think it's a great habit. There's this saying, when it comes to writing, we seem to be very liberal about first draft, second draft, third draft. But when it comes to movie, we kind of look at it like whatever we shot is the end all. That's mostly because shooting budgets have gone, are higher. Per day, the shooting budget of a studio project, of a low cost studio project, can be north of 1.5 to 2 lakhs. So when you spend 1.5 to 2 lakhs a day, the very idea of, let's see how it came out, let's go back and reshoot something if necessary, or redo certain scenes, it's just such a turn off, and it's such a scary proposition for the filmmaker. If you're looking at this video, there's a very good chance 95% of you do not have 1.5 lakhs per day to spend. You probably have 1.5 lakh for the entire film that you have to make, to pitch. Gone is the day of pitching a screenplay and trying to get it ahead. మీ మామయ్య ఒక పెద్ద ప్రొడ్యూసర్ అయితే తప్ప, ఆర్ మీ ఫ్యామిలీలో ఎవరో క్లోజ్ పర్సన్ ఫ్యామిలీ ఫిల్మ్ ఇండస్ట్రీకి చాలా దగ్గరగా రిలేటెడ్ అయితే తప్ప, నువ్వు స్క్రిప్ట్ రాయంగానే నీకు యాక్టర్స్ దొరకడం అండ్ ఫండింగ్ దొరకడం అనేది జరగదు. సో ఐఎమ్ స్పీకింగ్ అబౌట్ బెటరింగ్ ద పిచ్, అండ్ ద ఓన్లీ వే టు మేక్ అ గ్రేట్ పిచ్ ఇస్ టు మేక్ అ రీజనబ్లీ గ్రేట్ ఫిలిం, ఐడియల్లీ అ డామ్ గుడ్ ఫిలిం. సో డామ్ గుడ్ ఫిలిం చేయాలంటే స్క్రీన్ ప్లే లాగా ఫస్ట్ డ్రాఫ్ట్లో రాకపోవచ్చు. So the story of Psych Siddhartha was that it was a demo film first. Then several producers liked it. Uh, the demo film found funding, ranging like the most I got was close to 2 crores to make the movie. But I chose a lesser amount for more freedom, because apparki in making the demo film with a couple of lakh rupees. So I'm not just speaking the air here. It is possible to actually discover your voice. నీ వాయిస్ ఏంది, నీ పర్సనాలిటీ ఏంది అనేది నీకు తెలవాలంటే నువ్వు ఫిలిం తీసి దాన్ని రీడూ చేయాలి, ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ తీసుకొని. సో అట్లా చేసి ఆ డెమో ఫిలింని నేను ఎడిట్ చేసి 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 సర్టన్ సీన్స్ రీషూట్ చేసి దాన్ని ఒక లెవెల్ తీసుకొచ్చినప్పుడు నాకు ఫండింగ్ వచ్చింది. అండ్ ద రీరిటన్ రీడన్ వర్షన్ ఆఫ్ ద డెమో ఫిలిం ఈజ్ సైక్ సిద్ధార్థ. I say the final version of the film is only a day before the release. అప్పటి వరకు చేంజెస్ అయితేనే ఉంటాయి ఏదో ఒకటి. సో really get into the habit of taking feedback and remaking the film. So how much is a good amount to spend per day? If you have around 10 lakh rupees as your seed funding to finish a film, around 10,000 rupees per day is a good amount to spend. You have to figure a way to mobilize your equipment, etc. There are many resources, many people who post stuff on Instagram where they say for a few lakh rupees you get 60 30 to 40 days of shoot with an FX3. And if you shoot it well enough with an FX3, it can straight be sold to Netflix or something if the quality is good enough, if the entertainment is high enough, if the engagement is high enough, or if the story is thorough enough, if the film form is good enough, you can sell it straight to OTT. So the metrics, you have to reduce the metrics, 5,000 per day or 3,000 per day, or absolutely just food and transport per day. It's all fine. If you're shooting it with your mobile phone, it's all fine. The point is, shoot it, edit it, take feedback, and redo the film. So these are the 4 steps. I'm gonna like put them down here so that you don't lose track of what I'm speaking. So if you do these 4 things, it's much like really seasoned fitness coaches give you advice, right? Like just this 4 exercises and you will be really fit. Most of your muscle growth comes from these things. I think it's squats, etc., etc. I don't know enough. I'm not a fitness expert, but I can tell you that when it comes to filmmaking, just these 4 habits. Okay, shoot, edit, uh, feedback, and then using the data to drive you into a reshoot or redo. Okay, and then repeat steps 1 to 4. If you do this enough number of times with the same film, it's gonna get so good. You have no choice but to make a great film. You're kind of bypassing your own anxieties when you say it's okay to make a not a great film first up, but take feedback. And sometimes you gotta you will know it's not working, but you still have to take feedback. You still have to put it out. You still have to let people comment on it, and you'll be surprised just how good it is as well. There are certain portions of it that people will say is damn good. In fact, right now I can very shamelessly tell you these things. I didn't know I had a skill or flair for this as much as people tell me now. Because I'm taking feedback, I kind of realize that I'm damn good at using music and footage together. Like whenever I use, and this is YouTube music, temporary music gun, and YouTube nunchi edo okati తీసుకొచ్చి పెడతా temporary ga before I put final music. Whenever I put music and put a scene together or think of music to tell a story, the people I take feedback from straight up, like they're emotional about this. They're like, Varun, that's bad, this is good, that's bad. But the parts where you put music, that's just working. You could just release that in a theater. I wouldn't. I will still redo it because I myself kind of give myself feedback after having gone through the process. But it's very surprising as to just how positive the response is for some of the scenes that I thought wasn't very sure about. So మీది ఎట్లుంది మీకు తెలియదు. మీరు యూనో కాకి పిల్ల కాకి ముద్దు ఏదో ఉంది కదా సేయింగ్, మీకు తెలుసు. ఓకే, అట్లా అయిపోతుంది అనమాట. ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ లైక్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ruminating in your own head about how it is. So I go to short film competitions to judge. A lot of times I see very average or below average films being screened, and I very gently ask the makers as to what do you think of the film, and they're always saying, "I think it's good." Uh, that's because we are very excited about making it. It's very beautiful, and it is like a baby, right? You gotta love your baby, but also you gotta understand that you're gonna send your baby off, and your baby will now belong to everybody else, and they have to pay a certain amount to for you to recover your costs and make a profit and have a career. So అవన్నీ జరగాలంటే you gotta take feedback. It's much like developing an app. An app can be put out in market. దాన్ని మళ్ళీ డెవలప్ చేయొచ్చు, మళ్ళీ రీడూ చేయొచ్చు, ఫీచర్స్ యాడ్ చేయొచ్చు, తీసేయచ్చు. అట్లా చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళొచ్చు. యూట్యూబ్ బిగన్ యాజ్ అ డేటింగ్ వీడియో సైట్ అండ్ బికేమ్ వాట్ ఇట్ ఇస్. ఫిలిం ఏంటంటే ఒకసారి బయటికి రిలీజ్ చేసినాక నువ్వు యాక్చువల్లీ ఒకసారి రికట్ చేసి ఇంకోటి పెడతా అన్నాడు కాదు. మ్యాక్సిమం అండ్ సెన్సార్ రూల్స్ ఆర్ వెరీ స్ట్రిక్ట్. నువ్వు ఇట్స్ లిటరలీ ఇంపాసిబుల్ టు చేంజ్ ద ఎడిట్ వన్స్ ఇట్స్ పుట్ అవుట్. So the antidote to that is take a lot of feedback, do a lot of screenings, and get into the habit of being okay with what people say. Take it purely as data, only as data, and your growth as a human being. Forget filmmaker. As a human being, you become someone capable of leading a team, keeping your calm, etc. It's just too much advantages. Like just take feedback and redo the film, and that is the 5th big habit. So the next thing, I didn't want to put this first up because anyone who's looking at the video will probably want to do this. I started with shooting and editing, but this is damn important too. I did mention earlier that you have to clear your time up. So that's an eyeball, okay? In case you're wondering, okay? Okay, in case you see that's a nose. So now you can't like. So the thing is, you gotta watch films with intention. It cannot just be you watching like this, but it has to be with intention. Like, so what sketch are we gonna make? So you gotta watch movies with intention of breaking it down. Okay. And I'm gonna give you a few as to why you gotta do this. The reasons are obvious. So you gotta put a bit of a magnifying glass, okay, to the whole process and look at cinema through that glass. Okay, that's a reel. And I'm being really quick at my sketch here. Uh, but this is again a habit I have. Like I kind of force myself into corners where I have to sketch and express my thoughts. Okay. Also, I have another career option as being a pro Pictionary player in case everything goes to shit. So, uh, steady movies, steady cinema. Okay, don't just watch it to get through a day, but steady cinema. And why you got to do it? The reasons are obvious. What cinema should you study? There are two ways to look at it. One, study the movies that are successful at the box office. Uh, not just like the movie, but also the marketing trends, how it's edited, etc. The songs that were put out. Uh, but then also study the movies you love in particular. How do you do it? To start off with, you could just do this like you look at the movie, and every time there's a cut, put a line, and every time the scene is done, just put a box around it. So you do that, you start getting into, and sometimes you realize you can't do this straightforward. You can't put a box. There'll be like one shot in one scene and three shots in one scene. But pause and do this. I kind of did that recently with Durandar 2. I went to the theater. I didn't have a notepad, but I just kept counting the number of cuts in each scene. Why? Because I was just so overwhelmed by just how successful that movie is and how it was pulling audiences in. And the scope of storytelling, that's almost like 8 hours of storytelling, but really told so well and so completely. So I was trying to see what is the rhythm. So a practice like this where you count the number of cuts and see where a scene is terminating or ending. This helps you study rhythm and gets you more into the practice of understanding how a film is progressing, etc. The other thing you can do when you're watching a movie is start watch around, do 0 to 10 columns like this, watch around 10 minutes of it, pause, and then note down in your own words what happens: hero, heroine, uh, fight, okay, etc., etc. Okay, and once you get that, you get to the next. So break movies down in 10-minute segments or whatever you want. That'll give you a roadmap of how movies are going down in probably 2 or 3 pages. You can see the whole thing. So these are some very good ways to break it down. Do not get over. Look at, so the way I ask you to break things down or make movies is much like a data scientist. You got to look at it like data. I know there are a lot of emotions involved. చిన్నప్పుడు నువ్వు దేవి థియేటర్లో పేపర్స్ ఇసిరేసి ఉంటావు. నీ హీరో సినిమా బాలేదు అంటే పక్కన హీరో ఫ్యాన్‌ని నువ్వు గుద్దేసి ఉంటావు. ఇట్లాంటివన్నీ నువ్వు చేసి ఉంటావు. While I fundamentally find that very lovely, and also I don't encourage you to go into all those zones. What I mean to say is keep emotion a little bit to the minimum, and try to look at it like data. It's very difficult for me because I'm very emotional. Why else will I come into filmmaking? Okay, but you have to learn to look at things like data. Like every 10 minutes ఏమైతుంది, ఎంత పెద్ద హిట్ అయినా నీ మనసుకు ఎంత నచ్చినా ఆఖరికి ఇట్ ఈస్ డేటా. సో యూ గోట్ బ్రేక్ ద డేటా డౌన్. ఎస్పెషల్లీ నీకు ఆ సినిమా చాలా చాలా నచ్చి నేను ఇట్లాంటి సినిమా చేయాలరా అని నువ్వు అనుకుంటే దాన్ని డేటా లెక్క బ్రేక్ డౌన్ చేసుడు చాలా హెల్ప్ అవుతుంది. దే ఆర్ మోర్ వేస్ ఇన్ విచ్ యూ కెన్ డూ దిస్. ఐ నో అ లాట్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ గెట్ ఇన్ టు ద ఎమోషన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. లైక్ ఫర్ ఇన్స్టెన్స్, పీపుల్ ఏం చేస్తారంటే దే గెట్ ఇన్ టు దే స్టార్ట్ ఓవర్ థింకింగ్ ఇట్. లైక్ బెలూన్స్ బైక్ వెనకాల ఇట్లా ఎగురుతున్నాయి, అది అది ఫిజిక్స్ రా బై. బైక్ ఇట్లా తీసుకెళ్తే వెనకాల బెలూన్స్ ఎగురుతాయి సైక్ సిద్ధార్థ ఎండింగ్లో. ఆయన ముందుకెళ్తుండు గానీ, ఆయన హార్ట్స్‌ని పోనీయకుండా అట్లా వెనకాలుంది. హిస్ హార్ట్ ఈస్ అవే ఫ్రమ్ హిమ్, అది గదా ఎస్థెటికల్లీ అని అంటుర్రు. యాక్చువల్లీ అంతేం థాట్ లేదు. ఇట్స్ జస్ట్ అ బ్యూటిఫుల్ ఇమేజ్ వేర్ వి పుట్ హార్ట్స్ బికాజ్ హి ఈస్ అ లిటిల్ ఆన్ ది ఎడ్జ్ అండ్ ఇట్ క్రియేట్స్ మీనింగ్ లైక్ దట్. But it's better to break it down into data as opposed to looking at intrinsic psychological metaphors and meanings, because the practice of having a career means ఒక జనరల్ ఆడియన్స్ ఎట్లా పర్సీవ్ చేస్తారు నీ ప్రోడక్ట్ని, నీకు అర్థమైతే నువ్వు గ్రేట్ బిజినెస్ మ్యాన్ అవుతావు. సో యాజ్ అ ఫిల్మ్ మేకర్ యూ ఆల్సో హ్యావ్ టు బి బిట్ ఆఫ్ అన్ ఆంటర్ప్రినర్. సో దిస్ ఈస్ అ గుడ్ స్కిల్ టు హ్యావ్ వేర్ యూ బ్రేక్ మూవీస్ డౌన్. ఓకే, so the next thing I can ask you to do, the next big habit is uh, carry your studio. So that could mean carry your studio is, for me, uh, you can't always carry a suitcase full of your stuff, but that's exactly what I'm asking you to do. So that could translate as just, a book and a pen. Okay, a book and a pen. Okay, just that. So carry something that at any given point you can like start noting stuff down. uh, and ideally, if you're using the phone, do have that limit set on Instagram and YouTube, so that you can like get into the more important app. There are many mind mapping apps, many note taking apps, but a better habit is actually to use your hands, get analog, carry a book and a pen, or carry your iPad if you have one. Whatever you can carry. If you're someone who likes to like shoot and edit, I know some vloggers who like to. You can carry your MacBook, but whatever it is, the big point here is carry your studio, whatever that means. So it or I'm just telling you, carry your creative tool with you. Okay, this is big. Okay, so that if you have a tool, నువ్వు దాన్ని వాడతావు. ఇప్పుడు నీ దగ్గర కార్ ఉంటే నువ్వు కార్ నడుపుతావు పోయి, నీ దగ్గర కార్ లేకపోతే నువ్వు నడపవు కదా. ఇట్స్ యాజ్ సింపుల్ యాజ్ దట్. ఐ మీన్ ఇట్స్ సో బేసిక్. సో you carry it, you use it, and then you get into the practice. You're developing a habit of constantly engaging with the creative tool. So carry your creative tool, use it. uh, I'm not even going to go into depth about it. It could be 100 rupees book and pen, or 1000 rupees uh, posh sketchbook with a whole color pencil set. It does not matter. Whatever your tools are, carry them with you and be in the habit of noting down stuff. Okay, so that's the next big habit. Then reading. I can't stress this enough. I know so many people who don't read. They come in. I've seen ADs who come in, but they have a lot of issue reading English, or just reading. The same skill you require to get through a novel, the patience you require, the skill sets you require in getting through a book, is the same skill set you will require to finish a script, because you have to stare at the screen, you have to like get deal with words a lot. So I've kind of, and this is just my personal experience, the more I read, the more I would have patience to write. So read. I'm not even like going to like explain too much about this. This is just how it is. uh, in case you're having trouble reading, it boils down to the first point that I told you. Cut your usage of things that give you quick dopamine hits. So then you start reading. If you find it difficult to focus on text, you can take up books that have bigger text. You can start with graphic novels. I love graphic novels. Sin City changed my life, if you know Sin City. But either ways, get into the habit of reading. It doesn't matter if it's Tinkle, if it's Sin City, a Batman comic, or a big Mills and Boons novel, 50,000 Shades of Pink, whatever your book is, uh, just read it. Skip ahead. It does not matter. Be in the habit of reading, and ideally not Instagram quotations, reading actual books. Can be ebooks too. But what that does is like sets your mind up to get into writing. And there's a lot of study done on what happens when you read. Your brain just, the synapses between your neurons takes off, and there's a lot of new connections being formed. So uh, if you're a guy, apparently in research has done, the most attractive hobby is reading, apparently. So get into it, get into reading. It's just too many benefits. I'm not gonna like spell them out here, but if you want to be a filmmaker, be in the habit of reading. um, the next thing that I would like to suggest is, um, don't just watch movies, watch how movies are marketed and what the makers are talking. So actually listen to, or like be informed about what goes on in making a movie. There's a lot of resources, so just be informed about the process. So not just the movie, watch how it's made, what the makers are doing, look at the marketing things that they are doing, look at the trailers, look at the songs that they are putting out, look at the strategies. And also really if you a lot of it is just fluff, but a lot of it is also very legit. So if you want to be a film director, listen to film directors talk, look at their comprehensive interviews. If there's a masterclass by them, check it out. People who are gracious and kind enough to put their thoughts out, they reveal a lot there. So just be informed and more than what just the movie is giving you. The next big skill, and I'm not even getting into the details of this, how you do it is it's the easiest thing. Just get onto Instagram, and Instagram knows you're into cinema for the first 5 minutes, after which it gives you cat and dog videos and Rakta Pinjar Roy and waste your time. So you gotta like be aware. If I were to come, and this is not even this topic, but if I were to come and imprison you for 30 years, you wouldn't like me very much, right? You wouldn't accept it. But that's exactly what doom scrolling does. So you gotta put, and this is even, at least in a prison, you know you're in a prison. Doom scrolling, you wouldn't even know. So what I would like you to do is please set a timer. Use Instagram and YouTube with intention. Go check out updates, subscribe, hit the notification icon, okay, hype this video, share it with filmmaker friends, and make sure that you're subscribed and signed up to this information, because it's educational and actually helps you. It gives you returns, positive returns on becoming a filmmaker. But besides the important stuff that helps you on your path, a lot of it is just being distracted. So with intention, go and consciously check out what's happening behind the scenes of cinema and all that stuff on the industry. The next big thing is network. And I'm just going to draw a human chain, okay? I'm going to draw all kinds of people and in a circle probably. Network. Your network is your net worth. Oh, what an Instagram quotation. Iyala naku నేను I have like a very short interval for which I have to like use social media. But net, okay, వీడిని కూడా మంచిగా ఇద్దాం. నెట్వర్క్ అండ్ ఆ మధ్యలో ఏంది అని మీరు ఆలోచిస్తే అది ఫైర్ అనమాట. సో అందరి డ్రీమ్స్ కలకాలం అట్లా కాలుతూ ఉండాలంటే నెట్వర్క్ చెయ్యాలి. ఇది కూడా చాలా కేర్ఫుల్గా చేయండి. మీరు పని బయట పెడుతున్నప్పుడు ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఆ పనిని చూసి మీకు జనాలు వచ్చి మీతోనే నెట్వర్క్ చేస్తారు. బట్ మీరు కూడా కొంచెం సోషలైజ్ అవ్వాలి. గో అవుట్, మీట్ పీపుల్. ఇఫ్ యూ థింక్ సమ్‌వన్స్ హెల్ప్‌ఫుల్, గో పుట్ అ వర్డ్ అవుట్ అండ్ ఆస్క్ ఇఫ్ దే ఆర్ విల్లింగ్ టు హెల్ప్ యూ. అయితే ఇక్కడ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ ఏందంటే కామ్‌గా అడగాలి. కొంచెం ఆత్రంతో అడిగితే భయపడతారు. సో జస్ట్ ప్రాక్టీస్ breathing. That's something you can do too. Just practice breathing calmly into your anxieties and your worries and fears. Breathe into it. Don't digest them as opposed to express them too vocally to the people whom you require help from. And just network. A lot of people overdo networking where they're not really making anything but saying hi hello to everyone. That's not the way. If you're creating, and that's why any networking starting la vettale, the most important things first. But networking is important. Your ability to put yourself out there without worrying too much and consistently doing it will attract the right kind of people. So once filmmaking is still a very, and it will always stay a collaborative process. నువ్వు ఒకవేళ ప్రాంప్టింగ్ చేసి నువ్వు సొంతంగా బ్లెండర్లో ఛాంపియన్ అయిపోయి ఫ్లో లాంటి ఒక సినిమా తీసినా దానికి కూడా నువ్వు ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ తీసుకోవాలి. ఆ ఫిల్మ్ తీసుకొని నువ్వు వేరే వాళ్ళకి చూపించాలి. So it's always going to be collaborative. You're not the only guy watching your own movie. So it's collaborative in the sense that you got to put it out in a theater or in front of audiences. So there's a lot happening always. There's always collaboration. So might as well practice it. So network. In very quickly, storytelling as a habit. Storytelling as a habit. So you just got to like practice storytelling. If I ideally say bypass writing a story. If you're a beginner, just get into shooting, because you'll probably use writing a story as a way to the time spent on writing a story, you'll use that as an excuse to postpone indefinitely. నీకు షష్టి పూర్తి ఫినిష్ అవుతుంది కానీ నీ ఫిలిం పూర్తి మాత్రం కాదు. అట్లాంటప్పుడు ఏం చేయాలంటే డైరెక్ట్ షూట్ చేయాలి. బట్ దట్ సెడ్, స్టోరీ టెల్లింగ్ ఈజ్ అ వెరీ గుడ్ వే ఆఫ్ లైక్ ఇఫ్ యూ నాట్ షూటింగ్ యాక్టివ్లీ, రైట్ స్టోరీస్ అండ్ నరేట్ దెమ్ టు పీపుల్. స్టోరీ ఐడియాస్ని నోట్ చేసుకోండి, ఐడియాస్, నరేట్, అండ్ just stay in touch with stories, which means creation. Storytelling as a habit, which means writing it and sharing it, sharing your bad stories, good stories, rewriting your old stories. So storytelling as a habit, narrate it. Sometimes you can just narrate what happened that day with intention to a person, to a friend, to a family member, and just see how they are engaged. I know certain friends who can describe పొద్దున ఛాయ్ ఎట్లా తాగిర్రు with utmost interest, ఫుల్ ప్యాషన్తో డిస్క్రైబ్ చేస్తారు. ఇట్లా పెట్టినా పాలు ఇట్లా పొంగి వేనే జురుసురుసురు ఇట్లా సౌండ్ ఎఫెక్ట్స్ పెట్టి చెప్తారు. You're so engaged by just how a tea is made. Then there'll be this other guy who has this amazing story of how his parents abandoned him as a child and he went through a lot of difficulty and became whatever, like made a startup and all that. But point is, వాళ్ళ స్టోరీ టెల్లింగ్ స్కిల్స్ అంత ఉండవు. సో వాళ్ళు చెప్తుంటే నిద్ర వస్తుంటుంది. దో దేర్ స్టోరీ ఈజ్ యాక్చువల్లీ వెరీ ఎంగేజింగ్. వాళ్ళు చిన్నప్పుడు లేరు, అది తర్వాత నేను చదువుకున్నాం. ఇట్లా చెప్పినాం అనుకో సగం సగం మన మీద మనమే ష్యూర్ లేకుండా, it just won't reach. So nowadays, I think a lot of small films that are winning, I've gone to the theater and I've been seeing, I try to watch at least one movie a week on an average, ideally two. Uh, the movies, the small movies that are striking it big in the theaters are the ones that dramatize the everyday situation, which means నేను జస్ట్ ఇది తీసి ఇట్లా పెన్ ఇట్లా పేపర్ మీద పెట్టి రాసుడు ఆర్ ఐప్యాడ్ మీద పెట్టి రాసుడు ఈజ్ డ్రమటైజ్ లైక్ ద ఫస్ట్ టైం రామ్ చరణ్ గారు గెట్స్ ఆన్ టు హార్స్ ఇన్ మగధీర. ఆ లెవెల్ డ్రమటైజేషన్ చేస్తుర్రు. ఐవ్ సీన్ వాజా 2 వేర్ ద డ్రమటైజింగ్ ద ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్లీ ఆర్డినరీ అండ్ మేకింగ్ ఇట్ ఎక్స్ట్రాడినరీ. సో స్టోరీ టెల్లింగ్ అలోస్ యూ టు డూ దట్. కెన్ యూ జస్ట్ డిస్క్రైబ్ హౌ యూ గాట్ టు వర్క్ in a way that is engaging, and can you exaggerate things? Can you really stress out ఆడెంత టైం తీసుకుని తెలుసారా ఆటో రానికి? Can you like stress out, make the other person feel your frustration in waiting for the auto? So నీ ఎమోషన్స్ ఇట్లా నువ్వు ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ చేయగలిగితే, you can make the ordinary seem extraordinary with your storytelling skills. There's a very good chance you'll become a good storyteller. That's a great habit to hone. And then we're getting to the end of these habits, and I'll do a quick recap at the end. And this is in no particular order, but really the first 5 topics are the most important. So we're going to go back, and then I'm going to end it here with voice. Develop a voice. So every time, let's make him smile. And this is like, this voice is worth all the money, all the dollars, all the whatever else you can like put. This voice, develop your voice. Okay. And what do we mean by develop your voice? So firstly, I'll speak about what I mean when I say develop your voice. Firstly, the hint lies in what makes you drawn to cinema. What do you love about cinema? There your first clue lies. If you like watching comedies and your general filter of life is funny, which is mine, I kind of tend to gravitate more towards comedies and funny movies, and that's very critical to my voice. The other thing is I like cartoons. I like comedies where cartoons like Tom and Jerry, where everything's an obstacle. So it's a single goal, catch the mouse, and the mouse single goal, escape the cat. And then there are a lot of obstacles thrown into the way. That's it. Simple storytelling. So that kind of really drives me. Even similarly, Coyote, Roadrunner, right? Catch the coyote, catch the Roadrunner, and Roadrunner doesn't even try to escape. Here it is almost like Coyote will just get hurt, and it is its own obstacle, but it's relentless in its pursuit. So these are simple storytelling tools that I personally relate a lot with, and I keep it simple. So anything like opening a door, I try to think of what is the obstacle. Is the door stuck? Is there somebody dangerous standing on the outside? Is the handle very hot that the moment I touch it, I'll yell? Is a key lost? Is there a person standing outside who wants to kill me at the first sight of me? Uh, so there are all these things like what can go wrong in just opening a door. So tend to look at storytelling like that, and that comes from my own understanding of what I love. You gotta look at it for yourself. So one thing is what you love watching. The other thing is మీరు ఏం ప్లానింగ్ చేయకుండా షూట్ చేయండి స్టోరీస్. జస్ట్ మీ ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఇద్దరిని పిలిచి ఒక సీన్ తయారు చేసి షూట్ చేసి చూడండి మీరు ఏ డైరెక్షన్లో వెళ్తుర్రో. అట్లా మీరు చేయగా చేయగా ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ ద లెస్ ప్లాన్డ్ యూ ఆర్ ద మోర్ ఛాన్స్ యూ హ్యావ్ ఆఫ్ డెవలపింగ్ యువర్ ఓన్ వాయిస్. ప్లాన్డ్ ఉండి ఏంటంటే ప్లానింగ్ ఎక్కువ చేసి షూట్ చేస్తే ఏమవుతుందంటే స్టోరీ తీస్తారు, మూవీ బాగానే రావచ్చు. కానీ ఇన్ ద absence ఆఫ్ ప్లానింగ్ యూ గోనా డూ సంథింగ్ దట్ విల్ సడన్లీ రివీల్ టు యూ హూ యూ ఆర్. I remember I used to like take part in 48-hour film competitions in college, in film school. అండ్ మోర్ దాన్ ద అసైన్మెంట్స్ నీట్గా మొత్తం ప్లాన్ చేసి ఇదిగో ఇది స్టోరీ బోర్డ్, ఈ షార్ట్లు ఇది రావాలి, ఆమె జుట్టు ఇట్లా ఎగరాలి, అవన్నీ నేను పెట్టుకొని వెళ్ళేటోడిని. బట్ వెన్ ఇట్ కేమ్ టు దిస్ 48-hour ఫిల్మ్ కాంపిటీషన్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు లైక్ రైట్, షూట్, ఎడిట్ అండ్ సబ్మిట్ ఇన్ అండర్ 48 hours. దేర్ ఐ స్టార్టెడ్ డెవలపింగ్ మై వాయిస్. వన్ ఆఫ్ దోస్ కాంపిటీషన్స్ నేను జస్ట్ మొబైల్తో తీసిన. అందరు పెద్ద పెద్ద ఎక్విప్మెంట్ వాడుతుండే. ఆ కాంపిటీషన్ మేము గెలిచినాం అనమాట. మా ఫిలిం గెలిచింది. సో ఆ ఫిలిం నేను చేసినప్పుడు నాకు కొన్ని ఎడిట్ ఇంట్రెన్సిక్గా కొన్ని అర్థమైనాయి. దట్ నాకు టైం క్రంచ్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఎట్లా షూట్ చేయొచ్చు ఇవన్నీ. డైరెక్ట్ ఫోర్త్ వాల్ బ్రేక్ చేసి మనిషి మాట్లాడడం. ఇట్స్ సమ్వేర్ ఆన్లైన్ ఆల్సో. ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ ఈవెన్ గోనా, ఐ థింక్ ఇట్ ఈస్ కమింగ్ సూన్. ఐ మేడ్ అ ట్రైలర్ ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ అ షార్ట్ ఫిలిం. సో ఇట్ వాస్ అ ట్రైలర్ ఫర్ అ ఫుల్ లెంత్ ఫిలిం దట్ ఐ జస్ట్ పుట్ ఇట్ అవుట్. Back in the day, mobile phones were just starting to be used for shooting movies. So I made a movie. I made a trailer about a guy who makes a movie using a cell phone because he doesn't have money or equipment. So this little trailer really helped me develop my voice. And I was also noticing నేను ఎంత తక్కువ ప్లానింగ్తో షూట్ చేస్తే అంత ఎక్కువ నేను గెలుస్తుండే నేషనల్ లెవెల్ ఫిల్మ్ కాంపిటీషన్స్ కానీ యాడ్ కాంపిటీషన్స్ కానీ. So that gave me a clue as to what am I doing right when I'm not planning too much. So I realized a few things and then I started to use that along with my planning, because studio projects నువ్వు ప్లాన్ చేయకుండా షూట్కి వెళ్తా అంటే వాళ్ళు కూడా ప్లాన్ చేయకుండా నేను తీసి పడేస్తారు. సో బట్ that's why you owe it to yourself to do a little bit of this unplanned shooting to develop a voice. Once you develop a voice, what's going to happen is people will love you for your voice. They're going to come to you for your voice. You're going to get funding for your voice. అండ్ యూ గోట్ కీప్ హోనింగ్ ద వాయిస్. రోజు ఆలాప్ చేసినట్టు అప్పుడప్పుడు నువ్వు ప్లానింగ్ లేకుండా షూట్ చేస్తూ ఉండాలి. ఐ ఐడియలీ లైక్ టు డూ 2 projects parallelly. One is always the studio end of projects, and that's very important. Those have a lot of funding, there's a lot of money riding, but there's also the unplanned project, which is also very important. So the unplanned, where we kind of figure the story as we shoot, rough outline untadi, we figure it out as we shoot, and I do that intentionally. Because I actually become a better director and storyteller when I do that. And when I do the studio projects, I become better at planning and thinking big and thinking of what's more commercial, what's going to really work. ముందే ఆలోచించి ముందే ప్లాన్ చేసి చేస్తాం. సో దానివల్ల ఇది చాలా హెల్ప్ అవుతుంది, దీనివల్ల అది హెల్ప్ అవుతుంది. సో దీస్ ఆర్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ ద హ్యాబిట్స్ ఐ సజెస్ట్. హోన్ యువర్ ఓన్ వాయిస్ అండ్ కీప్ మేకింగ్ ఇట్ బెటర్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ ద హ్యాబిట్స్ ఫర్ ఫిల్మ్ మేకింగ్. And there's so many more you can think of. Please comment below what you think. We're going to do a quick recap. So the recap is: 1, get a hold of your time. Quick one sentence recap. And these first 5 are the most important. 1, get a hold of your time, which is by blocking Instagram usage to under 1 hour a day. Same with YouTube. But yeah, that's how you make sure that you have more time available to go after what your real passions are. Okay. The next thing is learn editing, the most important film skill. You learn editing, you learn almost every other aspect of filmmaking, because the final draft of your film will always be made by the editor. So if you don't know how to edit, you're giving your control away. You are probably a little bit in the dark about these things, about filmmaking. The next topic is shoot and edit. Not just edit, be in the habit of shooting. Be on a deadline. The only way you'll get as good as your aspirations is by putting yourself on a deadline and finishing projects 1 a week or 1 a month, short films. maybe do one feature film every 6 months. I kind of do that. I still do that. I try to finish one feature film every 6 months. It's okay if it goes over by a little, but just doing that keeps you in the habit of shooting and editing. And you know, shoes baga jaise todo shoe. A batsman practices batting. Um, a coder practices coding, right? A guy who makes shoes practices making shoes. A cobbler practices shoes. A carpenter makes furniture. A filmmaker, on the other hand, is not making films. You gotta make films. Shoot and edit. Audio plus visual is a film. Lower your expectation of what a film is to just audio plus visual plus audio. That's it. Any visual, any audio is a movie. Keep it that simple and make movies on a deadline. The next thing is take feedback. Okay, show it to a lot of people. It's okay to be heard, positive, negative. Take it all and then diagnose it. And then with that diagnosis, redo the film. uh, do draft 2, draft 3, draft 4. My thinking is by draft 4 your film will be damn good. Yeah. And then once you go through this process, steady cinema with intention. A couple of ways that I gave you is like note down the number of cuts in a scene, or just look at the story patterns of what happening every 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And then 8, carry your creative tools, carry your studio, whatever that is, MacBook, pencil, pen, newspapers, paper rockets, I don't care, palm of your hand to scribble on, not your palm, but whatever it is, carry it with you and use it. Okay. Read books, because the amount of good it does to you, as to nurture patience and figure out storytelling patterns and spend time with words, it's, I can't even measure it. So read, because the same set of skills you require to get through a book is the same set of skills required to get through a screenplay. Next, be informed about the movie industry. Look at behind the scenes, look at directors talking, uh, be obsessed about permit room content, etc., etc. Do these things, that really helps you. Okay. Next, network obsessively whenever you find time, as opposed to like going out and uh, hanging out with the same set of friends. Probably go to some events. There are many networking events. We're gonna do some in permit room shortly. So come network, be an active participant in the community, and form your connections. Okay. And then make storytelling a habit. Start narrating things, start writing things, start re-narrating things. Think, figure a way to dramatize the ordinary events of your life to make them seem extraordinary. And this practice is really gonna hone your storytelling skills even for cinema. And finally, develop a voice and protect it and nurture it and hone it. And that'll only happen through a volume of work, not by just getting through binge watches of Netflix. All right. Love that. That was the end of this episode. I loved sharing this information with you. Develop these habits, comment, subscribe, like, share, everything else. You know what to do. You know the protocol. Do that. See you soon, guys.